Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about what I've been doing in the last week or so and where I cover some of the news items that have caught my eye in the last few weeks. So let's start as always with EVE Online, my #1 game. I am really pleased. I've been able to play a lot of EVE Online and I've actually enjoyed the time that I've spent in EVE quite a little bit. The biggest trigger here has been the dev blog that CCP released explaining the details about the Citadel event, where they basically said that all of the research components that would be contracted to a character from the Upwell Consortium would become a ticket in a massive lottery, and that the main prize, if we get enough research components contracted, is going to be a blueprint copy for a large Citadel. That was absolutely amazing, and the hype that is created an incredible opportunity on Monday to go out there, find those research components and sell them in non-Gallente trade hubs for amazing money. And that's exactly what I did. So on Monday I gathered 40 of those research components. I went to Amar and I managed to still sell them for for around 7 million ISK. So that was an easy 280 million ISK on one evening just for the research components from exploration sites that normally don't really make any money. I decided to continue this for a couple more days, but the price of those research components did drop very quickly, even in the Mars space. I think the reason it was such a good opportunity is because there are really no Serpentis sites close to the MR trade hub, and as a result there was a bit of a lag between people rushing to do those sites and to bring those to the market, and the ones that were first could just basically sell at a really big premium. But as I said, the price dropped substantially in the days after that, and I gathered around 30 of them on Tuesday and on Wednesday. I did still sell them, but of course your profits were basically halved in no time. On the other hand, during all of that exploration, I found a few fire outposts as well. So I got a few nice blueprint copies and a few faction pieces as well. And just on those 3 days, I made an easy 700 million just exploring a little bit in HiSec. I thought that was actually really amazing, and I managed to enjoy my time in EVE Online there. It was very rewarding as well, being able to see the actual money flowing right away is pretty awesome. Now you may say, well, 700 million, it's not that special, you know, there's much more lucrative ways to make money in EVE Online, and you're absolutely right. Keep one thing in mind, of course, I have a real life job, and so I basically came home after that, decided to put some effort into EVE Online, but it's not like I'm like at full energy or anything like that either, and as a result I was really pleased with the time I spent in EVE Online and the rewards that I saw for that time spent. It was pretty damn awesome. On top of that, I managed to join all 3 mass tests last week as well. That was pretty awesome. So first of all, we had, of course, the duality mass tests that did not go so well, where CCP basically decided that they were not gonna have the PvP fight because duality was probably not able to handle it at the time. They still dropped an exile Citadel for us to take a look at, and I covered that. It was pretty amazing to see. These Citadels are just so huge that they blow anything else out of the water. It was an amazing sight, but after that CCP decided on another mass test on CC for Project Discovery, which honestly went pretty much without a hitch. That went really well. And then on Friday we had another duality mass test where the server was able to handle the fight, and we got another look at an exile Citadel, and that video is going to be coming next week. I actually decided to cut out most of the actual mass test and just went straight for covering the exile Citadel in a bit more detail, just taking my time a little bit more, and CCP actually used some weapons there from the Citadel. It was really cool. I actually like how the video is going to be turning out, and you'll get that next week. But those exile Citadel previews definitely managed to get me hyped for the expansion, and it's really looking like CCP is hard at work and on the right track to make the Citadel expansion a successful one. So yeah, that basically my week has been filled with EVE Online playing, EVE Online testing, making money in EVE Online. I really enjoyed that quite a lot. On top of that, there was quite a bit happening as well within the story and the sphere of EVE Online as well. So for news related stuff, what I really liked was when the Upwell Consortium had decided on their 5 spots within New Eden where they are going to put a prototype of the citadels. One of them is in Nullsec, and that site was immediately attacked by an alliance, by the OSS, which has sparked basically a little bit of a side story when it comes to the Citadel. So the OSS destroyed that site because they are demanding that Upwell pay them for some building permits in order to put the Citadel down there. Now this is NPC Nullsec, so they don't have any sovereignty there, and as a response basically the Upwell Consortium is giving them the finger because they already decided that all OSS members are barred from the lottery where they can win blueprint copies. So the Citadel event has been blocked for them, and all efforts that they've already put in, so all the research components that OSS members may have already contracted to the Upwell Consortium are just basically considered null and void. They're not getting their tickets into that lottery, and yeah, their actions actually have consequences, even if it is against an NPC corporation. I think that's really cool, because on top of that, CCP is doubling down on their threats. This is really reminiscent of the time when CCP put like a $750 equivalent bounty on players in Plex because they didn't want to give over the body of Helen Tukos, which they managed to grab during one of the Drifter events. And so they are basically, the Upwell Consortium is threatening the OSS for all of their assets within Upwell Consortium stations if they don't comply with the Upwell Consortium plans to go ahead and build the Citadel, the prototype Citadel in that location, which, well, basically the OSS does own that part of NPC nullsec space, but they don't have sovereignty there. And it's really interesting to see that CCP is taking that ball and just running with it, once again flexing the NPC corporation muscles once again. And I think that these guys will have substantial assets in Taki bank stations, for instance, and if they don't play ball, CCP might actually start to take action against the assets that they have in those stations. It's a really cool little side story that is actually created and sparked by the players, and then of course CCP takes that ball, runs with it, and makes it into something that is really cool to read about. I absolutely love those parts of EVE Online. And another news item, of course, the 07 show was back last week as well. I thought it was a really good show. I saw it live on Twitch, and if I had to say one change, I think it's a change that I really liked, is they had a little segment where CCP Guard and CCP Mimic basically brought us the latest news in EVE Online, but in a very concise, almost bullet point manner. So the Citadel events, the coming of the skill trading, all of that stuff, but very short, very concise, very high on information. And I thought that one was really well done. It definitely stood out to me as something that I had not seen in previous 07 shows, but I thought was really well done, and something that I absolutely appreciate, that CCP tries to keep us up to date on everything that's happening, but without like making it too long or too casual. It was really straight to the point, basically a very small news segment within the 07 show, covering everything you need to know to get up to date on what's happening in the game. I thought that was really well done. So that's basically it for EVE Online within the EVE Online sphere itself. Next up, what else did I play? So I spent a lot of time in EVE Online already. I joined all of those mass tests. It's a full work week for me, so I was pretty low on energy after all of that was done and after I've made my videos, and as a result I came back to some Banished. Banished is like a tiny little game that I always keep on my hard drive. It's just a few hundred megabytes, but it's so relaxing. This is what I absolutely love about Banished. I just decided to start a new little town. It looked like a good map. With a decent start, and I just went with it. I probably played 6-7 hours of Banished, and I almost get energy back when I play Banished. You know, if you compare that to something like Diablo, Path of Exile, actively exploring in EVE Online, or even Fallout 4, you have to put effort, you have to put concentration in there. When it comes to Banished, you can just basically plan it out a little bit, tell your little guys, your citizens there to do the job, and then just watch and enjoy your little town growing organically. It's just such a relaxing game. If you've never played it, if you haven't picked that up yet on a Steam sale, I absolutely recommend it. It's a brilliant little game that is absolutely worth it. If you're looking for something to do when you're low on energy, when you're really looking just to relax a little bit, Banished is absolutely the game for you. And last week I basically needed it. It was really really good to be able to fall back to that. Now, yesterday on Saturday, I did play a little bit of Diablo 3 as well. I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I've not yet reached level 70. I should have by now, but as I've said, I was pretty low on energy after all the EVE Online stuff, and so I haven't been able to put in the time into Diablo 3. I'll try to get it done by next week, because I think you get really good rewards reaching level 70. It really boosts you up in what you can do, but that's just going to depend on whatever else is going to happen in the next week. So we will see. When it comes to the comparison between Diablo 3 and Path of Exile, I still feel that Path of Exile gives you a bit more reward for the efforts that you're putting in. When I'll reach level 70, I'll just try one of the standard high-end builds, I guess, that I can find, and then depending on the type of gear that I'll find, I may change to another high-end build, but there's very little reason to try something that's not optimal here. And that is, I guess, the biggest difference that I'm noticing here is that Diablo 3 is very smooth. It is really easy to progress in the game, but it doesn't punish you at all for making a wrong choice. It doesn't force you to stick with an idea, and that actually, I think, takes away from the rewarding feeling when you're playing Diablo 3. I definitely prefer the fact that when you start a new event or a new season in Path of Exile, you basically choose an ability, you choose a build, and then you try to get the most out of that build, trying to keep progressing using that, because there's no way back. In Diablo 3, it's really all about the loot, all about the gear. You're trying to get all of those legendary items, try to deck you out, and then just depending on the type of gear you'll find, sure, you can try different builds, but there's always clearly going to be just one optimal build, and that one is accessible to everyone within the class. I think that that's definitely a difference between the two games, where I personally see more potential, more longevity in Path of Exile because of that, compared to Diablo 3. So it's just a little bit harder for me to put the time into the game at the moment that I should to really progress in Season 5, but there is still time, of course, so we'll see how all of that is going to work out. Now, other than what I've been doing when it comes to gaming news, I didn't really spot anything about the games that I'm looking forward to or anything like that. But there was the latest co-optional podcast that talked about EVE Online for several minutes. So I thought that was pretty interesting, also a little bit disappointing, to be honest. What surprised me is that it's actually Dodger who was the most positive about EVE Online. So she really saw like the potential in the game and all the awesome stories. She was quite a positive advocate. I got a positive vibe about what she had to say when it comes to EVE Online, but both Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox were really basically pretty negative about the boring aspects of EVE Online. So of course they have full understanding. Total Biscuit actually played the game for 6 months, and they do look up to the scale, the magnitude of what can be done within EVE Online, but they were very hard on it when it comes to the boring aspects of EVE. Not completely something that, you know, it's something that's understandable, but I was a little bit surprised that it actually felt like Dodger was the most positive about the game. And what I thought was pretty funny is their guests, can't really remember the name. I think he was like a wrestler or something like that, and I'm not that big into wrestling, but when he heard about the Plex system and the fact that that basically gives a value to everything within EVE Online, his very first thought when he heard about Titans was of selling those for real life revenue. So his first thought was of RMT, and that is apparently something that whenever people that don't know anything about EVE Online and they hear about the Plex system, they hear about Titans being worth thousands of dollars, they immediately have dollar signs in their eyes and they're thinking, oh my god, are there people playing that game and then actually making thousands of dollars by selling those ships? And so none of the other guys there actually rectified that and said that, well, you can make that money if you consider subscription money that the equivalent, because you can only sell that for Plex and then add that game time, and as such basically make a real life money equivalent, but you can't get any money out of the game. And it's kind of funny. It's something I think that we'll always see when it comes to people that don't really know anything about EVE Online, but they hear about Plex, they hear about ships worth thousands of dollars, and their first reaction is always going to be, oh my god, people pay thousands of dollars for a ship, people try to sell those ships, what the hell is happening in that game? That's completely crazy. But they're actually, of course, a little bit wrong about that aspect of the real life value of things in EVE Online. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see people talk about EVE Online in such a visible show, something that's so popular. I thought that was pretty good, but of course, as someone that actually plays EVE Online, it was a little bit disappointing that they got quite a few of the details pretty wrong. And after that, we've got some non-gaming news that did catch my eye. How could it not? If we go to reddit.com/r/videos, you get all of this drama that's happening when it comes to the React videos. So you've got this channel that is trying to basically copyright their reaction format, and of course people are going completely bonkers about the potential abuse of such a copyright, where they could shut down any reaction videos if they really thought so. And of course, considering how bad YouTube actually is when it comes to copyright enforcement, and how often they take down even really big channels for completely wrong claims and things like that, it's understandable that this is a complete shitstorm, and that's actually pretty depressing. You know, I do make videos, I love making videos, and then just seeing that this is a problem that is now known for years and years and years, and it's only getting worse basically, because now we actually have big YouTubers that are apparently not seeing the fact that they are becoming a part of the problem. So I saw the actual video with the announcement, and they tried to explain it in a positive manner, that they're finally going to try and change something, but they're going to use the exact same abusable tools as any of the other media companies that are actually abusing the system. And so this is completely crazy. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't have any actual opinions on this. I actually think that the party that should look into protecting the content creators against abuse a bit more would be YouTube, would be Google itself. And so all this drama is probably on the periphery around that. But it's an absolute mess here. If you look at how many of these videos right here on the front page of the video subreddit is related to that. There are basically accusations going back and forth. There are probably things that they can't do anything about. There are probably correct claims that are being made and stuff like that as well. But it's as a YouTuber, you know, seeing something of this magnitude happen is a little bit weird. Considering I think that a lot of it is actually missing the bigger point, that the one party that should probably try to improve things and can improve things is probably Google itself. But we'll see how all of that plays out. I personally think it's just going to die down in a few weeks, and that then we'll just move on to the next set of drama. And then finally, I mean, I was a little bit hesitant to talk about that, but I'm actually a little bit entertained by this. If you're looking for something that's not as depressing as the whole React thing, as a Belgian, as someone that's not from the US, I'm actually pretty entertained by everything that's happening in the US elections there. With you can't stump the Trump, you can't or feel the burn, and then you've got Hillary Clinton that is now possibly being indicted for doing some illegal stuff with top secret emails and things like that. I mean, I'm not a political kind of guy, but this is to me grade A entertainment. This is absolutely, this is really funny to me. It is of course almost depressing as well if I then listen to like a Carl Sagan video or something like that, and then we're talking about people that are running for probably the most powerful position within humanity. Then of course it's not so. It's a little bit depressing as well, but honestly, looking at it from an outside perspective, and if you look at it objectively, I think it's, well, kind of funny, all of the things that are happening here as well. And I actually look forward to months and months of more entertaining, because I think no matter what is going to come out as the results of these primaries, so where basically the two parties are going to decide on their candidate for the general election to become president of the United States, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup with a lot of entertaining potential here. So that's my view on that. I'm actually sort of enjoying the show from the sidelines there as well, without any actual opinions on much of any of that, because, well, being from Europe, being from Belgium, of course, it's not like I can vote, and this is all up to the American people to decide who is going to be their next president. But I don't think I would want to be in their shoes, having to decide between basically these three candidates at the moment. It's yeah, pretty tough to do, but also pretty funny to watch all of the drama that builds around all of that. Anyways, that's it then for this, well, a little bit of a longer Sunday recap. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.